You know, most business books are pretty neat and tidy. They give you these clean, simple formulas for success. But what happens when things get, well, messy? When there are no easy answers? Today, we're diving into Ben Horowitz's The Hard Thing About Hard Things. And let me tell you, this isn't your typical management guide. It's more like a brutally honest survival manual for when everything is falling apart. I mean, right from the get-go, you know this book is different. It doesn't open with some quote from Peter Drucker. It opens with Kanye West. And this one line, it just sets the whole stage. Horowitz is basically saying that being an entrepreneur, it's a lot like hip-hop. You're navigating a world where the rules aren't always clear, and you have to fight for every single thing you get. And that really gets you thinking about the central question of this whole book. Why do all those best-selling business books feel so completely useless when you're the one in the trenches, facing a crisis that has no obvious solution? Well, the answer is actually pretty simple. They fail us because they don't talk about the truly hard things. Sure, they'll teach you how to set big, audacious goals, but they won't tell you how to fire a loyal friend who just isn't cutting it anymore. They'll tell you how to hire great people, but not how to lay off an entire division. Horowitz focuses only on those gut-wrenching problems that have no recipe. So what does it actually feel like to be facing these hard things? Horowitz gives this experience a name, this state of being that basically every leader is going to face sooner or later. He just calls it the struggle. And he's not talking about just a tough quarter or missing a deadline. No, he defines the struggle as this deep psychological state. It's this constant gnawing pain that just follows you everywhere. It's that really profound sense of isolation you feel at the top. You're responsible for every single person, but you feel like you can't really confide in anyone. You know the feeling? You're in a crowded room, but you've never, ever felt more alone. And this just shows you how physical it is. The struggle isn't some intellectual problem you can solve on a whiteboard. It's a visceral, all-consuming force. This is the reality of leadership that other books just don't even dare to touch. Okay, so if you find yourself in the struggle, how in the world do you lead your way out of it? Horowitz gives us this really powerful way to think about it. He says, you have to recognize whether you're leading in peacetime or if you're leading in wartime. See, in peacetime, when things are good, a CEO can focus on big picture stuff like empowering people, expanding the market, fostering creativity. But in wartime, when your company's very life is on the line, the mission narrows down to one thing and one thing only: survival. All that focus on creativity, it shifts to strict compliance. Expanding, no. Now you're just fighting to defend your turf. The priorities are just completely different because the stakes are existential. Have you ever felt that shift yourself? To show you what a wartime leader sounds like, Horowitz tells this incredible story about hiring a guy named Mark Cranny to run sales when his company was at war. And this quote, that's what Cranny said to a room full of new hires on their first day. Yeah, it's shocking, for sure, but it is brutally, undeniably clear. In wartime, there is zero ambiguity about the mission. And that brings us to maybe the most important role of all. A wartime leader's most powerful tool isn't fake positivity. It's radical, uncomfortable honesty. You have to be willing to tell your team the unvarnished, often painful truth. Horowitz actually learned this lesson from his own brother-in-law, who was a telephone lineman. When Ben mentioned some senior AT&T executive, this was his brother-in-law's response. It was a huge wake-up call. Employees see right through that fake, inauthentic optimism. They would much rather have a leader who's honest about the challenges than one who just comes by to blow sunshine. So, if there are no formulas, if there's no recipe book for the hard things, where do the answers actually come from? Well, this leads us to the final, and I think most empowering lesson of the book. The solution lies in embracing what makes you, you. So check this out. This is a list of what Ben Horowitz considers his greatest strategic assets. You'd think he'd list his MBA or his technical skills, right? Nope. It was his totally unconventional background, his communist grandparents, his deep love of hip-hop, the fact that he was the kind of kid who hung out with both the football team and the calculus nerds. All this stuff gave him unique perspectives to solve problems that nobody else could. And that's really the ultimate takeaway here. The answers to the truly hard things aren't in a business book, because they're already in you. All the quirks of your history, your non-traditional path, all your weirdness, that's not a liability. That is your strategic superpower. It's the very thing that lets you find a path forward that no one else can even see. So in the end, the message isn't to try and avoid the hard things or find some shortcut around the pain. It's a call to action. Embrace the struggle, because it's only by going through it, armed with everything that makes you who you are, that you forge yourself into the leader you actually need to be.